Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have a beer from a brewery that I don't believe that I've done a review for yet. This is from Zebulon Brewery out of Weaverville, North Carolina, which I believe is right outside of Asheville. A couple times I've been to Asheville, I've not been there, which is a shame because I've had some of their beers recently and they've all been very good. So the next time I make a trip out there, I for sure will be going there. Anyways, a lot of people get them mixed up with Zillicoa because there's not that many breweries in general that start with the letter Z, especially two that are in the same city. Definitely two different breweries, both do very good stuff. But they're not the same. So this beer is their Biere de Coupage. It says 50-50 blend of double dry hop Saison and 2-year-old sour beer barrels. So the sour beer adds a refreshing tartness and complexity, lots of tropical fruit, pineapple, hops. Ingredients: Pilsner, rye, wheat malt, and raw wheat. Hallertau Blanc, Azacca, Sterling, and Motueka hops. And Biere de Coupage is basically usually a young beer that's used to back blend into barrel aged stuff in sour beers and lambics. So I guess that's essentially what this is, a blend of that and this dry hop beer. This is 6.4 ABV. I've not had this before, so I'm excited to crack it open and see what we got here. Wow, I can smell it from here. It's interesting. See if I can land there. So it pours a slightly cloudy, like darker straw, almost golden, with a pretty big white head. It's a little rocky, which I would expect from usually Brettanomyces does that, but it's still pretty full. Whew, that smells good. There's a good bit of damp cellar minerality to it, but also some nice funky cheesy character that I get out of some of the vintage bottles from the New Glarus Goose. And there is definitely some tropical character to it as well, which I'm assuming is from the double dry hop Saison, but that's just, to me, what I'm perceiving. That's just adding to the brightness of the beer. This is not like a Brett IPA or a sour IPA by any means. It's funk driven way before the hops. That's tasty. It's interesting. It's not as acidic as I was expecting it to be. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be super sour, but the flavor you get up front is something that I generally get from American wild ales that have a nice back end acidity to them. You get that, and then there's there is a little bit of acidity, but then it falls into this super dry, bready, cheesy, slightly bitter, like hop bitterness finish. Up front, though, it's very minerally and almost like that sweet tarty character. Um, it's really weird. Like I guess it makes sense. Maybe it's because it's a blend of these two beers and that's in my head, but I really don't think it's in my head. I think it's really something that I'm getting out of this is like whatever that sour barrel aged beer is, like you get the flavor of that really big up front. But then that dry hop saison comes in, dries it out. You get a nice tropical bitterness in the back end, but it has also like a cheesy character, which I think is probably actually from the saison because I'm guessing there's Brett in that as well. So it's kind of it's interesting because in the aroma, it's like they're working together as a team to create something that's bigger than the sum of the parts. In the flavor, it's kind of like they're pulling apart from each other. Where it's like two stories. You get one, and then you get the other. Which that is definitely better than them clashing. Like you don't want that. Um, is it better than them like coming together to form one unique thing? I would probably say no. I don't know that it's worse either. It's just different. It's just it's so weird. Like right up front, there's a little bit of like apple skins, and the big minerality that I was talking about. And then when you think you're gonna get kind of like that lightly stinging acidity on your tongue in the finish, it just completely changes gears into a dry, slightly tropical, bready, bitter finish. This is a wild beer, and honestly was no pun intended when I said that. I don't mean wild because it has wild yeast in it. It's just a really unique thing that I think. Like I said, it's not necessarily creating something that's unique in and of itself. All of the things going on here I've had before in other beers, and it's kind of one thing than the other. But I've usually never had them like layered on top of each other like that, where you get both of those things in the same beer. So that's pretty unique, and I guess that goes more towards his blending ability more than the brewing ability. But the brewing ability is still there because everything that's happening at the beginning and the end are both still very good. I'm trying to think of what this cost. I know it was something cheap. Like, I think this was under $10. I know the regular Saison was definitely under $10, but I think this. So they released this, a house Saison, which I think might have been half of this. Maybe it was like extra hop for this. And then 2 barrel-aged barley wines. The barley ones were, of course, the more expensive ones, but I think this was probably less than. But even the barley ones, I think, were like $12, which is awesome. I think this was less than $10. But even if it was in the low teens, for $7.50 of this, I would absolutely buy this again. This is a really, really good beer. It's super unique too. That's what I like about it. Is it's unique in that it can do two things really well. It's not necessarily unique in that there's any one like flavor or thing about it that I haven't tasted in another beer before, but I haven't gotten like those two combinations in a beer before, so that makes it unique for me at least. So I'm hoping. I did hear that after so I got that my friend, luckily for me, grabbed me some bottles of this when he went out there for the release. But they did say that it was going to hit bottle shop shortly. I hope that's the case because I would like to get another bottle of this to share with some people. I don't know. I'm curious how this is going to hold up over time. I'm sure it'll still be good, but I think it's going to change a lot just because obviously that tropical character, not that that's like the driving force of the beer, but that's going to fall off. Even though like Brettanomyces generally makes hops last a lot longer than regular Saccharomyces yeast. But so I would say if you drink this within like 8 months, it would still probably be pretty similar. But eventually, it's going to change. But I don't know if that means it's going to become even more dry or it's going to go towards the like the actual sour beer side. I don't know, but I would like to see it change, and I would like to share it with other people who don't have access to it here. So I hope I can get another bottle. But yeah, I would absolutely buy this again. So this is a buy for me. But I think that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.